All right, thanks, guys. We are 10-1-1 in our last 12 college football membership packages on patreon.com/Brock page. Link for that site is in the description section below. Now, we have a great slate of Major League Baseball action here today. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's go ahead and dive into it. And I don't even have the clicker. Wow. All right, thanks, guys. We are 10-1-1 in our last dozen college football membership plays on patreon.com/Brock page. Link for that website is in the description section below. Now, we have ourselves a very nice, very juicy slate of Major League Baseball action here today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I know I am. I'm having a great morning, and it's going to be better as we're going to dive into some pretty strong leans, in my opinion. And we're going to start off with the Angels taking on the Yankees, 6:35 Eastern first pitch in the Bronx. The Yankees are 305, total 9.5. 25-cent move toward New York, movement downward on the total. Yankees open 280, up to 305. Total open 10, down to 9.5. 73% of the consensus is leaning toward New York. 78% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Angels are plus 280 on the money line. Yankees minus $1.60 on the run line. We have Suarez for the Angels, Severino for the Yankees. Severino making his first start this year. And as you remember last year, he was outstanding in the running for the Cy Young. Suarez on the other side for the Angels, just 2-6 on the season, 6.94 ERA, 1.64 WHIP. Suarez looking forward to the end of the season, unto which he can go on vacation with a year like that. Now, the Yankees are tied for the best record in Major League Baseball. Looks like it's pretty much a lock that they're going to surpass 100 wins this year. They're 98-53 overall for the season, first in scoring on average per game. Now, the Angels on the other side, losers in 6 out of their last 7. As a matter of fact, it looks like their entire team is looking forward to the offseason right now. They've also dropped 9 out of their last 11 on the road. The Angels rank 26th in runs allowed when traveling. When it comes to the total, New York's 4-2 to the over in their last 6. I'm going to lean Yankees minus 1.5 and the over 9.5 in that game. Welcome back, Luis Severino. All right, next matchup, Mariners, Pirates, 7:05 Pittsburgh. The Pirates are 130, totals at 9. Nickel move toward Pittsburgh, movement downward on the total. The Pirates open $1.25 up to 130. Total open 9.5 down to 9. 51% are leaning Mariners, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, Seattle's plus 120 on the money line. Pittsburgh plus $1.60, laying the run and a half. We have Marco Gonzalez for the Mariners, Mitch Keller for the Pirates. Gonzalez is 15-11 on the year, 135 strikeouts. Mitch Keller for the Pirates on the other side, just 1-4 on the year, 8.29 ERA, 1.87 WHIP. The Pirates have won just 31 out of 72 at home this year. They've also dropped 6 out of their last 9 ball games. The Pirates rank 27th in runs allowed at home, 26th in walks allowed at home as well. Now the Mariners on the other side, winners in 5 out of their last 7 head-to-head matchups with the Pirates. The Mariners are also 39-36 against the spread away from home. And of course, when I refer to the spread in Major League Baseball, I'm referring to the run line. One more thing to add about Seattle, they rank 6th in offensive walks on average per game. Now, total-wise, the Mariners are 46-29 to the over when traveling. Pittsburgh, 75% to the over in their last dozen ball games. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me the Mariners plus 120 and the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Blue Jays, Orioles, 7:05 Camden Yards, Baltimore. Toronto's minus 125, total 10.5. 20-cent fade of Toronto, movement downward on the total. The Jays open $1.45 down to 125. Total open 11 down to 10.5. 62% leaning toward Toronto, 59% shaded toward the over. Right now, Baltimore's plus $1.15 on the money line. Toronto plus $1.20, laying the run and a half. We do not have any confirmed probables for this game right now. And when we do, let me know in the comments section below so we can actually thoroughly handicap this game. What I'm looking at is either Trent Thornton or Wilmer Font for the Blue Jays. And then when it comes to the Baltimore side of things, it looks like either Dylan Bundy or Chandler Shepard. But no confirmed probables for that game as of yet. Now the Blue Jays, they've lost their last 7 straight when traveling. They're also just 28 and 47 in that same category. Toronto ranks dead last in hits on average per game and 29th in walks allowed, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. The O's on the other side, winners in 3 out of their last 6. They also rank 15th in offensive strikeouts at home, doing a pretty good job making contact at Camden Yards. Now, total-wise, Baltimore's 5-2 to the under in their last 7 head-to-head matchups with the Blue Jays. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the O's plus $1.15 and the under 10.5 runs in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Tuesday's Major League Baseball action. But before we get into some more of that, I just want to quickly once again remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that website. We have a bunch of different memberships and packages, and they begin at just $1.99 per month. We're also 10-1-1 in our last 12 college football plays on that website. And that college football package is just $14.99 per month. Not a day, not a week, per month. And of course, you'd be up slightly over 8 units if you were on board with me. I know my other patrons are, and if they were $1,000 bettors, they'd be well over $8,000 worth of profit already on the season. So anyway, there's plenty of free content on that website, including my current record. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, guys, we're going to slide into some more lines of personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Tigers taking on the Indians, 7-10 Cleveland. The Indians are 205, total 9.5. Right now, the Tigers are plus 190 on the money line. We have Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers, Adam Plutko for the Indians. Plutko's 6-4 on the year with a 1.24 whip. Cleveland, 1.5 games back for that second wild card spot. They're right in the thick of things, couple wins, and they're going to be locked up for a playoff spot. But right now, just 1.5 games back for that second wild card spot in the American League. They also rank second in runs allowed, 5th in strikeouts. Now the Tigers, on the other side, they're the worst team in Major League Baseball, and they've also lost their last 10 straight head-to-head matchups with the Indians. Now, total-wise, Cleveland's 80% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean Cleveland minus 1.5 and the under 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Giants, Red Sox, 7-10 Boston. The Red Sox are 200, total 10.5, 72% leaning Boston, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, San Fran's plus 180 on the money line. The Red Sox minus $1.05, laying the 1.5. We have Logan Webb for the Giants, Nathan Eovaldi for the Red Sox. Eovaldi comes into this game with a 5.81 ERA, 1.54 whip. He's also walked 26 batters in just 52 innings. Boston lost 5 out of their last 8 ball games. They're also just 21st in runs allowed at home, last in walks allowed at home as well. Now the Giants on the other side, winners in 2 out of their last 3. They're also 47 and 28 against the spread when traveling this year. They rank 8th in walks allowed, 7th in road offensive strikeouts. When it comes to the total, Boston's 41 and 34 to the over at Fenway. I'm going to lean Giants plus 1.5 and the over 10.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Phillies, Braves, 720 Atlanta. The Braves are minus 175, totals at 10. Saw a nickel fade of Atlanta in the early wagering. The Braves open $1.80 down to 175, totals at 10 flat. 69% leaning Braves, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Phillies are plus 165 on the money line. Atlanta plus $1.05, laying the 1.5. We have Vinny Velasquez for the Phils, Dallas Keuchel for the Braves. Keuchel's 8-5 with a 3.35 ERA. Vinny Velasquez on the other side for the Phillies, just 6-7 on the year, 4.95 ERA, 1.39 whip. The Braves are in first place in the NL East, 93 and 58 overall for the year, 47 and 28 at home. They rank 6th in home scoring, 3rd in home walks. The Phillies on the other side, winners in just 2 out of their last 6. They've also dropped 9 out of their last 11 ball games played in Atlanta at SunTrust Park. The Phillies, 23rd in hits allowed on the road. And when it comes to the total, Philadelphia is 75% to the over in their last 8, taking on the Braves. I'm going to lean Atlanta minus 175 and the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Padres, Brewers, 740 Milwaukee. The Brewers are minus 125, total 8.5. Nickel move toward Milwaukee, movement downward on the total. The Brewers open $1.20 up to 125. Total open 9 down to 8.5. 73% leaning Milwaukee, 58% shaded toward the under. Right now, San Diego is plus 115 on the money line. Milwaukee plus $1.45, laying the 1.5. Chris Paddock for the Padres. Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers. Woodruff's 11-3 with a 3.75 ERA, 1.17 WHIP. He's also struck out 136 batters. Milwaukee is just one game back for that second wildcard spot in the National League. They're right in the thick of things, and this is going to be a dogfight in the next couple of weeks leading toward the end of the season. Milwaukee is second in offensive walks, fifth in strikeouts at home. The Padres on the other side, 28th in hits, 27th in offensive strikeouts. Winners in just 33 out of 75 when traveling this year. Now, total-wise, San Diego is 5-2 to the over in their last 7 in Milwaukee. I'm going to lean Brewers minus $1.25 in the over 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, White Sox, Twins, 740 Minnesota. The Twins are 220, total 10.5. We saw a full one-run move upward on the total. Once again, Minnesota minus 220, total open 9.5 up to 10.5. 71% leaning toward the Twins, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, Chicago's plus 195 on the money line. Twins minus $1.20, laying the 1.5. We have Ross Detweiler for the White Sox, Martin Perez for the Twins. Perez is 10-7 on the year, 125 strikeouts. Detweiler on the other side for the White Sox, just 2-5 on the year, 6.79 ERA, 1.67 WHIP. Minnesota's in first place in the AL Central. They rank second in scoring, first in hits. The White Sox on the other side, losers in 8 out of their last 11 on the road. They also rank dead last in offensive walks, 28th in walks allowed. When it comes to the total, Minnesota's 11-3 to the under in their last 14. I'm going to lean Twins minus 1.5 and the under 10.5 in that game. Next matchup, Nationals, Cards, 745 St. Louis. The Cards are 110, totals at 8. Saw movement downward on the total in this one. Once again, St. Louis minus $1.10, total open 8.5 down to 8 flat. 55% are leaning Nationals, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, Washington's plus 102 on the money line. The Cards are plus $1.85, laying the 1.5. We have Patrick Corbin for the Nats, Miles Michaelis for the Cards. Michaelis is just 9-13 on the year, 4.28 ERA. Corbin on the other side, 12-7 on the year, 3.20 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. He's also struck out 213 batters. The Nationals are in first place in the wild card standings in the National League. They're 82-67 overall for the year. Third in runs allowed on the road. Second in hits allowed on the road as well. One more thing to add about the Nationals. They are sixth in road strikeouts. Now, the Cardinals on the other side, losers in 2 out of their last 3. They also dropped 4 out of their last 7 ball games. They ranked 21st in scoring, 24th in hits. And when it comes to the total, St. Louis is 80% to the under in their last 5, taking on Washington. I'm going to lean Nationals plus 102 and the under 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Reds, Cubs, 805 Chicago. The Cubs are minus 160, totals at 8. We saw significant movement downward on the total in this one. Once again, Chicago minus 160, total open 9.5 down to 8 flat. 64% are leaning Cubbies, and at the moment the Reds are plus 145 on the money line. Chicago plus $1.25, laying the 1.5. We have Sonny Gray for the Reds, Yu Darvish for the Cubs. Darvish is 6-6 with 55 walked batters on the year. Sonny Gray on the other side for Cincinnati, 10-7 on the year, 2.80 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. He's also punched out 190 batters. Cincinnati has won 8 out of their last 10 when Sonny Gray makes the start. They're 3-2 straight up in their last 5 ball games, 5th in runs allowed on the road, 4th in strikeouts in that same category. Now the Cubbies on the other side, they're 21st in offensive strikeouts. They're also 16th in hits. Now, total-wise, the Cubs are 80% to the over in their last 5. Give me the Reds plus 1.5 and the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rangers, Astros, 8-10 Houston. The Astros are 345, totals at 8. We saw movement downward on the total. Once again, Houston minus 345, total open 8.5 down to 8. 71% are leaning Houston, 58% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Rangers are plus 310 on the money line. Houston minus $1.55, laying the 1.5. We have Lance Lynn for the Rangers, Justin Verlander for the Stros. Verlander's 18-6 with a 2.58 ERA, 0.78 WHIP. He's also struck out 275 batters with a good performance today. He could eclipse 300 strikeouts for the year. Now, Houston is tied for the best record in Major League Baseball. They're first in offensive walks, first in striking batters out. The Rangers on the other side, winners in just 32 out of 76 when traveling. They've also lost their last 7 straight in Houston. Now, total-wise, the Rangers are 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Give me the Astros -1.5 and the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Mets, Rockies, 840 Colorado. The Mets are 135, total 13.5. We saw a 10-cent fade of New York in the early wagering. They open $1.45 down to 135. Totals 13.5. 63% are leaning New York, 57% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Rockies are +125 on the money line. The Mets +110 on the run line. We have Marcus Stroman for the Mets, Tim Melville for the Rockies. Melville's coming into this game with a 5.16 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. Stroman on the other side comes into this matchup with a 3.35 ERA, 142 strikeouts on the year. Colorado, 23rd in offensive strikeouts, last in runs allowed at home. They rank last in the NL West as well. And it's not even a ranking. It's the actual literal standings. They are in last place in the NL West. Now the Mets on the other side, 5-3 in their last 8. 42-34 ATS away from home. They rank 4th in offensive hits when traveling. Now total-wise, the Mets are 11-5 to the under in their last 16, taking on an NL West opponent. Give me the Mets -135 and the under 13.5 in that game. Next matchup, Marlins, Diamondbacks, 940 Arizona. The D-backs are 165, totals at 9. Nickel move toward Arizona, movement upward on the total. The D-backs open $1.60 up to 165. Total open 8.5 up to 9. 71% are leaning Arizona, 65% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Marlins are +155 on the money line. Arizona +130 on the run line. We have Caleb Smith for the Fish, Alex Young for the D-backs. Young is 7-4 with a 3.38 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Caleb Smith on the other side, just 8-10 on the year, 4.13 ERA. He's walked 51 batters thus far on the season. Now, Arizona's winners in 2 out of their last 3. They rank 8th in offensive strikeouts, 5th in home walks allowed. The Marlins on the other side are dead last in scoring, 29th in hits, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. The Marlins also have the worst record in the National League. Now, total-wise, the Marlins are 80% to the under in their last 5. Arizona's 70% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean Diamondbacks -165 and the under 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Royals, Athletics, 10:07 Oakland. The A's are -250, total 9.5. 73% are leaning Oakland, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Royals are +2. The Royals are +225 on the money line. Oakland -135, laying the 1.5. We have Georgie Lopez for the Royals, Brett Anderson for the A's. Anderson 12-9 with 85 strikeouts. Lopez on the other side for Kansas City, just 4-7 on the year, 6.09 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. Oakland, first place in the wild card standings in the American League. They're 90-61 overall for the year, 29 games over 500, winners in 8 out of their last 10. The A's also rank 5th in runs allowed at home, 8th in scoring. Total-wise, the Royals are 42-33 to the under when traveling. Give me the A's -1.5 and the under 9.5 in that game. Next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Rays, Dodgers, 10-10 Los Angeles. The Dodgers are -135, totals at 8. 10-cent move toward Los Angeles, moving downward on the total. LA open $1.25 up to 135. Total open 9 down to 8. 56% are leaning Los Angeles. 54% shaded toward the over. Right now the Rays are +125 on the money line. The Dodgers +155, laying the 1.5. We have Blake Snell for the Rays. Ross Stripling for the Dodgers. Stripling is just 4-4 on the year. Meanwhile, Blake Snell comes into this contest with a 1.25 WHIP. He's also struck out 136 batters. The Rays are just, they're not even out of the race. They're right in the thick of things, and as a matter of fact, they're 1.5 games ahead of Cleveland for that second wildcard spot. So if the season were to end today, Tampa Bay would be in the tournament. Once again, Rays 1.5 games ahead of Cleveland for that second wildcard spot. They're also 3rd in runs allowed on the road, 3rd in strikeouts on the road. They're 13-4 in their last 17 ball games, 46-30 away from home, and that is the X factor in baseball when you can have a good record when traveling. Good playoff teams win ball games on the road. Now, total-wise, the Dodgers are 5-2 the over in their last 7 head-to-head matchups with the Rays. I like the road dog in this one. Give me Tampa Bay plus $1.25 in the over 8 runs in that game. And we're going to go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. We have Tampa Bay plus 125 over 8 runs. Oakland minus 1.5 under 9.5. Arizona minus 165 under 9 runs. Mets minus 135 under 13.5. Astros minus 1.5 over 8 runs. Cincinnati plus 1.5 over 8 runs. Washington plus 102 under 8 runs. Milwaukee minus $1.25 over 8.5. Twins minus 1.5 under 10.5. Atlanta minus 175 over 10 runs. San Francisco plus 1.5 over 10.5. Cleveland minus 1.5 under 9.5. Baltimore plus 115 under 10.5. Seattle plus 120 over 9 runs. And last but certainly not least, Yankees minus 1.5 over 9.5. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Andrew Stirrup from the Bahamas, who is currently attempting to pay for his wedding and mortgage for his family with an 8-team parlay. Well, best of luck to you, Andrew. I love your style, and I certainly would want to hit an 8-teamer to support my family. I like your style. I paid rent with gambling money before. I paid I paid a lot of bills exclusively with craps table money. So I support you. And best of luck to you. Now, Vinny Smooth, got to give a shout out to him. He said, that's not a good move, bro. It may not be to cool heads to rational minds, but stir up. I'm all about it, man. Go for it. Shout out to Salvatore Contreras, who says, how are these picks different from the ones on Patreon? Well, that's a great question, Sal. What we do here on YouTube is we cap the entire slate, which is extremely absurd. We cap the entire slate of games. The Patreon picks, they nail down the best games, the best plays. Those are plays that I personally have action on. So that is the difference. You may see some overlapping, but you would never know unless you were subscribed to Patreon. So once again, the difference is we cap the entire slate, which is completely unreasonable. You can't make money that way. You never will. Playing every single game on the board. It's just not going to happen. But the Patreon plays nail it down and give you the best plays out of the daily slate. And they're games that I personally have action on. All right, great question. I love that. Next shout out, War Thug 8, Filioso, Charlotte P. And last but not least, the man representing the Beard Gang, my man Matt, It's Gonna Be May. Which is actually kind of funny. It's Gonna Be Me. I think that was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I'm not sure which one. But my wife was at a Backstreet Boys concert last night with her mom and aunt and cousins. So she got back pretty late. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Really unrelated to anything besides the fact that Matt May, I've been calling you Matt, It's Gonna Be May for the last year. And of course, that's a spoof off of the song It's Gonna Be Me. But I forget if it was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys that sang it. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. And that's going to do it for today's podcast. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 10-1-1 on the season in our college football packages. We're absolutely destroying it. That package is just $14.99 a month. If you've been subscribed to that since the beginning of the year, you're up 8+ units right now. If you're $1,000 better, you're well over $8,000 in profit just on college football, building your bankroll to bet other sports, man. You can't beat that. We also do different plays, different packages on that site. There's a bunch of different memberships you can subscribe to, and they begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. That's a part of the free content. You don't have to pay for that. My current record is right there on the home page on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. But most importantly, I got to thank you guys for watching me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.